Today I'm going to talk to you about my ethnography of a reoccurring meeting. So just a little background, I work at the University of Oklahoma in the Bursar's office, and they have set up a program back in 2013 called the Flat Rate Tuition Program. When students are enrolled in at least 12 hours, they are automatically put in this program. And what this program does is it allows students to take up to 30 credit hours per academic year, so for the fall and spring semesters. If in each semester the student takes less than 15 hours, then they are able to essentially what's called bank hours for the summer semester. So how the actual flat rate program works is when a student enrolls in 12 credit hours, they are charged at a 15 credit hour rate. This doesn't mean that they have to only enroll in 12 or 15 hours. They can enroll in more. They can enroll in 18 hours. As long as they don't pass 30 credit hours for the fall and spring semester, they can take as many hours in the fall or spring as they please. There is an exception to where students can appeal the flat rate tuition program due to special circumstances. So they could have either disabilities or medical issues. They might not need 15 hours to graduate. They might only need 12 or 13 hours and want to only pay for 12 or 13 hours and not for the 15 hours that the flat rate tuition program offers. So when the committee chair calls for these face-to-face meetings, she'll typically send an email out to all of the members and organize a time that they can all meet. So once she has figured out the meeting time, the meetings will be held in the bursar's office break room. The break room has a fairly simple layout. As soon as you walk into the room, right in the middle is an oval conference table, and it has about 7 or 8 chairs surrounding it. To the right, as soon as you walk in, there's like a sink and a microwave. Against the right wall, there is a flat screen TV. We can use it to hook up the laptop if they feel that there needs to be information shared with the rest of the committee. And then directly across from the door, there is a large window that has a sort of a drop-down gate in case of emergencies. So getting into the actual meeting, the one meeting in particular that I'll discuss, we came in to the break room, and the committee chair pulled out the appeal that the student submitted, and she read it in its entirety. Once she finished reading the appeal, she then opened the floor for discussion. The input that everyone gave a lot of it was personal opinion. Some of it was, well, are we following the guidelines of what the flat rate tuition program is actually for? More specifically about this case, the student is a single mom of 2 children, elementary and middle school age, and she is also her mom's full-time hospice nurse, caregiver. So that was kind of hit home for 2 of the committee members because they're moms themselves and have gone through the same situation of trying to fulfill their higher education degree and going to school and having all of their personal lives to deal with at the same time. This kind of gets into an ethical standpoint of, do we follow the university's ethics as far as how we are to handle this situation, or do we follow our own personal ethical stance or standpoint for this situation? The 2 mothers that are in the committee, their standpoint was more from their ethical point of view and personal point of view. For myself, I don't have children, and the student worker that works with us, and the other individual who I explained before had the laptop job, none of us have children. So we were from a more ethical standpoint of what the university has set out for the rules of what we need to follow to approve or deny this petition. This can kind of go into now where I'll talk about the ethical theories um, or the ethical critique of this whole situation. First, I want to start off with deontology with the philosopher Immanuel Kant. His deontology, it means the study of duty or our obligation. He believed that uh, it's what we all like to call the golden rule. The golden rule: treat others the way that you want to be treated. He also believed that uh, we should worry not so much about how our rights and our wrongs and their consequences, and more of, did we fulfill our duty? And that goes into this case because as a university, we care about the success of our students. So are we doing what we can to make sure we're fulfilling our duty as a university to make these students successful? So what do we have to do? We have to think, what is ethically right and ethically wrong an ethically right and ethically wrong way to approach this situation? Did the student give us supporting documentation to say, yeah, she really is, busy. She's got her kids, her mom that she has to look after. Is she able to bank hours to take during the summertime? Well, no, because she has her obligations, her family obligations, where she won't physically have the time to come to campus. So then we look into, can she take classes online? Well, what classes does she still need? And are these classes provided online? We looked into that. No, the classes that she needs to graduate aren't offered online. They're only offered on campus. So that's when we have to kind of take a deeper look into ourselves, I would say, and think, well, she can't do this and that. She won't have the time, and we want her to succeed. We want her to stay in school. We don't want her to stop attending school or anything because, we caused her unnecessary debt from charging her 15 credit hours worth of tuition when we could have only charged her less than that, and she can go about the rest of her education here at the University of Oklahoma with as little complications as possible. The next ethical critique that I'd like to touch on is utilitarianism. This is a complete, I would say, opposite than deontology and Kant's standpoint on ethics. Utilitarianism is really, we focus on right and wrong and its outcomes. So I will do whatever I can to make sure I get the outcome that I want. The way that I've seen it described is this is the only ethical way to describe military warfare is, they will do what they have to do to get the outcome that they want. Sometimes this might result in lying, cheating, or stealing, which to most people that sounds awful. But I wanted to touch on this theory because I looked at it from the student's standpoint. The student has to do whatever she can to get to her end goal, which is to graduate from the University of Oklahoma. So from the committee's kind of looking into her situation, did the student truthfully tell us what is going on with her at home life? We have to take that into consideration. She's doing what she can to get the outcome that she wants. So she's trying to do whatever she can to convince us that please only charge me for 12 or 13 hours instead of 15 hours worth of tuition. Then we have to, as a committee, think about, is this something that she really needs? Do we believe everything that she has told us? Or do we kind of put this petition off to the side for a second to really think about, well, let's ask her for a little more background information before we make this decision to approve or deny her appeal. So, from a leadership standpoint, to kind of wrap this all up, these are things, these ethical theories are things that I think are very important for a leader to take into consideration. I spoke about deontology and how it's the study of us in our fulfilling our obligation. Did we fulfill our duty as a university? It's our job to help and assist students with their success with their degree. We have to take everything into consideration because there's a lot of things that can impact us depending on the decision that we come up with. We have to take into consideration this utilitarianism theory standpoint that is the student doing what they need to do as well to make sure that they are successful and to get the outcome that they want? And do we really want to help her in that way? Can we think of other ways to help her other than just saying, yeah, we'll go ahead and charge you for 12 credit hours, when in fact there might be other and better options that we can offer her to be successful within the university?